PR Connections Radio presents.
Welcome to Vegas Hockey Hub here in the sports entertainment capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada, on PRConnectionsRadio.com, the voice of new media. I'm your host, Ian Rachiele. And what a fantastic show we have for everyone all around the world, as we are going to be discussing the best defenseman on your Vegas Golden Knights, the guy who is the face of the defense here in Vegas. Of course, we are discussing the two-time Stanley Cup champion, Alex Pietrangelo. And before we really get a deep dive and really talk about what Pietrangelo has done in his career, and more importantly, what he has done as a member of your Vegas Golden Knights, I do want to mention to everyone who's watching on PRConnectionsRadio.com, we appreciate all the support. Go to the newsletter, go down below, subscribe to that so you do not miss any content on PRConnectionsRadio.com. If you are on our social media, it's on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all the social medias we have on there, go to @PRConnectionsRadio, like, share, and subscribe as well. Turn on the notification bell and follow all of the platforms on there. We highly appreciate it. If you are on the PR Connections Radio YouTube channel, we appreciate your support. And if you haven't already, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and turn on notification bell. Not miss any of the dozen shows we have on PR Connections Radio. And if you are on the Vegas Hockey Hub YouTube channel, welcome in, as we post content daily onto that YouTube channel. So subscribe, share, and follow all of the content we have on the Vegas Hockey Hub YouTube channel. So Alex Pietrangelo is an interesting case study because throughout his entire career, Alex Pietrangelo, he has been highly praised. He has been known as one of the best defensemen, regardless if he was in the OHL, if he was on Team Canada, if he was in the NHL. Alex Pietrangelo has consistently been one of the best, and it's been that way for a long time. So if we're really going to get into it and we're going to start this out, we have to go back a little bit, and we have to go all the way to his days in the Ontario Hockey League of the OHL. Alex Pietrangelo played for the Ice Dogs for 3 years. So 2006, 2007, 2007, 2008, and 2008-2009. And Alex Pietrangelo, the guy who was highly scouted, a guy who went from being in Toronto Junior, playing for the AAA team out there in Toronto. Then he goes to the Niagara Ice Dogs of the OHL. And his stats were very interesting because you have to take into effect, this is junior hockey. This is a form of, developing your skills. But Alex Pietrangelo did an amazing job in 155 games played. Like I said, 3 total seasons he played in the OHL. 28 goals, 108 assists, 134 points with the Ice Dogs. And he had a +70 and 171 penalty minutes. I also have to mention that the Ice Dogs made it to the playoffs each season. Now, they lost in the first round in 2007, lost in the first round in 2008, and got to the second round before getting bounced in 2009. So, for a team that made the playoffs each year, Alex Pietrangelo was in the league. I do want to mention his playoff stats very quickly, just because it's a very interesting point. So, in 2008, he had 9 points, 5 of them being goals in 6 games in the OHL playoffs. And then in 2009, he had 6 points and 20 penalty minutes in 12 games. So he's averaging half a point per game. So Alex Pietrangelo did pretty well in the OHL, and that actually got the attention of NHL scouts, as Alex Pietrangelo was a top 5 prospect in North America heading into the 2008 NHL entry draft. And I will say that when it comes to Alex Pietrangelo, or Petro, if that's who you want to call him, if you want to call him Petro, if you want to call him Alex Pietrangelo, whatever you want to call him, he had a very successful junior campaign in the OHL. And here's a little fun fact for you. He got traded in 2009, 2010 to the Barrie Colts of the OHL. And in fact, they actually went all the way to the finals of the OHL before losing in the finals. So 2009, 2010, his final season playing in the OHL, he played for the Colts and had 14 points in 17 games as they lost in the OHL playoffs. And you know what? Great nickname. Absolutely. Most of these Golden Knights players have great nicknames. So for Alex Pietrangelo, he did pretty well in the OHL. But something that happened with Alex Pietrangelo is something I have to mention right now. Alex Pietrangelo, after having all this acclaim, having all the success in the OHL, he was then selected to Team Canada in the 2009 World Junior Championship. And not only was he selected, he became the alternate captain, as you see on the left-hand corner. Alex Pietrangelo was the alternate captain during the World Junior Championship, and he helped Team Canada win the gold medal in the 2009 WJC, the World Junior Championship. As a matter of fact, in that time when he was playing in the World Juniors, he actually had 12 points in 6 games for Team Canada when he helped them get to the World Junior Championship. And then the year after, he actually went back to the World Junior Championship for Team Canada. And even though he only had 3 points in 6 games, he still helped Canada get to where they needed to be, as they actually finished second in the World Junior Championship that year, losing in 2010. So he goes from, having all the success in 2 years for Team Canada in the World Junior Championship, wins a gold medal for Team Canada in 2009, loses and gets a silver medal in 2010. But the fact that he racked up 18 points in 2 trips to Team Canada, that was pretty good for Alex Pietrangelo. And then he finally got the promotion to the actual Team Canada, where for the International Ice Hockey Federation World Championship in 2011, he would play for Team Canada, and not only would he have 7 games played, 5 points for Team Canada, he actually would win the World Championship Best Defenseman Award, which is handed out to the best defenseman in the tournament. So for a young Alex Pietrangelo, he was building up some good accolades in his career when it came to Team Canada and what he did with the Ice Dogs of the OHL. So based off of his international accomplishments, based off of his junior accomplishments, he did very well. As a matter of fact, he did so well that he would go 4th overall in the 2008 NHL entry draft by the team you see on the screen right there, St. Louis Blues. And I will mention with Alex Pietrangelo when it comes to what he was doing. Alex Pietrangelo is a guy that I say did pretty well in terms of his size, in terms of his ability to skate, in terms of his speed, his ability to actually make plays on the ice. Alex Pietrangelo had a majority of that as he was heading into the NHL. So, after being selected 4th overall and doing the rookie minicamp, Alex Pietrangelo would earn a roster spot on opening night 2008, and he would actually debut with St. Louis on October 10th, 2008 against Nashville, and in almost 19 minutes of ice time, he had a +1, not bad for his debut. Alex Pietrangelo would then play 8 games for the St. Louis Blues before having to join their AHL team for the Calder Cup playoffs. And yes, I understand that they got bounced in the first round, the Peoria Rivermen, but in 7 games in the Calder Cup playoffs, they lost in the first round. He had a +2 and 3 points during that time period. So for a guy like Alex Pietrangelo, he goes from being with the Ice Dogs, having a successful junior career, goes to international, does pretty well there. Now he is making his jump into the NHL, and he is kind of building up his resume in St. Louis. Now, the next 3 seasons that Alex Pietrangelo was in the NHL, 2009, 2010, and 2011, Alex Pietrangelo gradually got better. So he went from having only 2 points in 9 games to go in 79 games played, 11 goals, 43 points in 2010. And then in 2011, he played in all but 1 game and had 12 goals, 51 points, and would actually have his first action of playoff time in 2011. As the St. Louis Blues, he would be in the second round as the St. Louis Blues, how it was in the second round of the 2012 NHL playoffs. And did relatively well, as he actually had 5 points in 8 games in the 2012 Stanley Cup playoffs. Now, Alex Pietrangelo would be rewarded with showing more confidence. He would be rewarded for upping his goals, for upping his assists, for helping out with his plus-minus. Alex Pietrangelo would be rewarded with a nice 7-year deal at $45 million. So not bad for somebody in Alex Pietrangelo who at this point was only about 25 years old in St. Louis. Not bad for somebody in Alex Pietrangelo who was building up his career as a solid top-tier defenseman in the NHL. I also have to mention that he was receiving votes for the Norris Trophy at this time. So his hard work was paying off. Now, the next 3 seasons he was in St. Louis, he continued his momentum of getting better and better and better. As in 2012, he dipped a little bit, had only 5 goals, 24 points, and only had 2 points in 6 playoff games for St. Louis. But the next year, he actually would duplicate what he did in 2011, as he had 8 goals, 51 points in 81 games for St. Louis. And then he would actually be part of Team Canada in 2014 and actually would be with them during the tournament for 4 games. So Alex Pietrangelo is now becoming a 50-point scorer in the NHL. He is becoming a guy who had, a plus 18 in 2010, plus 16 in 2011, then a plus 20 in 2013. So the next season where Alex Pietrangelo, he is steadily becoming one of the best defensemen in the NHL. 2014 hits, once again, 81 games, 7 goals, and 46 points for Alex Pietrangelo. So in terms of individual accomplishments, Alex Pietrangelo was becoming a steady, reliable, consistent member of the St. Louis Blues. And in 2015, the last year before the upcoming slide is about to hit, Alex Pietrangelo had 73 games, 7 goals, 37 points, but he played in 20 playoff games that year for St. Louis as they would get to the Western Conference Finals. And they would have 2 goals, 10 points, pretty much averaging half a point per game, and 16 penalty minutes for St. Louis. Alex Pietrangelo would be rewarded for his amazing performance in the 2015 playoffs, as he would be named the captain of the St. Louis Blues. In 2016, the St. Louis Blues would give him the captaincy in St. Louis. And you know what? I will say when it comes to Alex Pietrangelo, the remaining 4 years he was in St. Louis, he was steadily a top 10 defenseman in the NHL, hands down. As he did 2 amazing accomplishments in 2016. Alex Pietrangelo not only had his most goals of his career heading into that point, 14 goals in 2016-2017. He only missed 2 games that year. He played 80 games in St. Louis. He had 48 points in 2016-2017, and then followed it up in the playoffs as he had 4 points in 11 games for St. Louis. The second accomplishment he had in 2016-2017 is he played in the World Cup for Team Canada. And in 6 games, he had 3 points, averaging half a point per game for Team Canada in the World Cup. 2017-2018, St. Louis did not make the playoffs. They didn't really do that well team-wise. But oh boy, Alex Pietrangelo kept getting better and better and better as he upped his goal career high with 15 goals in 2017-2018. He had 54 points, which was a career high for Alex Pietrangelo, and only 22 penalty minutes for a guy like Alex Pietrangelo. So he is receiving votes for the Norris Trophy. He is now receiving votes for the Lady Byng. Like, Alex Pietrangelo was steadily becoming one of the most constant, durable, reliable, one of the most steady hands in the NHL, and that was Alex Pietrangelo doing what he does best. 2018-2019 was the cherry on top for Alex Pietrangelo. 2018-2019 is when Alex Pietrangelo took off and became one of the best players, not just in St. Louis, but in the Western Conference. As you see right here in this picture, Alex Pietrangelo, 2018-2019, he helps the St. Louis Blues win a Stanley Cup, helped them win their first ever title in St. Louis Blues history. And Alex Pietrangelo wouldn't just have a part in it, he would have a big part in it. Not only would Alex Pietrangelo have 19 points in the Stanley Cup playoffs, almost averaging a point per game for the St. Louis Blues, Alex Pietrangelo scored the cup-winning goal in Game 7. In Game 7, Alex Pietrangelo scored the game-winning goal to help the St. Louis Blues win their first ever Stanley Cup. If he doesn't score that goal, St. Louis does not hoist that trophy above his head. And with him being the captain, you see a smile on his face. Alex Pietrangelo was one of the first people to raise the Stanley Cup in St. Louis, with him being the captain of the team. So Alex Pietrangelo, in his career in St. Louis, he was remarkable. He was incredible as a member of the St. Louis Blues. And despite the fact that the next year in 2019-2020, the final year he was in St. Louis, he would have just 70 games played. He would up his career high in goals with 16 and only 52 points, which once again is a constant for Alex Pietrangelo. He averaged 50 points in St. Louis 4 separate times as a member of the St. Louis Blues. The playoffs that year, his final time being in the Stanley Cup playoffs as a member of the St. Louis Blues, he would end up having 6 points in 9 games, almost averaging a point per game, around 0.75 for Alex Pietrangelo. So not only has Alex Pietrangelo been the captain of the St. Louis Blues, not only does Alex Pietrangelo hoist a Stanley Cup above his head, but Alex Pietrangelo also ended up getting a few accolades of his own as a member of the St. Louis Blues. See, Alex Pietrangelo did something that a lot of people don't either like to acknowledge or are unaware of. Alex Pietrangelo was a 3-time All-Star in St. Louis. He was a 2-time All-NHL team member in St. Louis. Okay, he was on the second team for the NHL in 2012, in 2014, and in 2020. So Alex Pietrangelo was one of the best defensemen in the NHL. Like I said, he was voted to the All-NHL second team 3 years in St. Louis. He was a 3-time All-Star guy, and 2 of those happened to be in St. Louis. And he was a Stanley Cup champion in St. Louis. Just to give you a little bit of reference, by the way, Alex Pietrangelo, in 758 games played for St. Louis, he had 109 goals, 341 assists, a whopping 450 points, and a plus 77 in 12 seasons in St. Louis. I also have to mention that he was a Norris Trophy voter 7 different times. There were 7 different seasons that he would receive some form of vote for the Norris Trophy. And by the way, anyone who's a casual or who doesn't know, the Norris Trophy is for the best defenseman in the NHL. So Alex Pietrangelo received votes for the best defenseman in the NHL 7 of his 12 years in St. Louis. And he was a 3-time All-NHL second team. In the 12 seasons he was in St. Louis, he did it 3 separate times. So it was a big deal when Alex Pietrangelo went to free agency. It was a huge deal when Alex Pietrangelo went into free agency. A lot of people were wondering where he was going to go. Was he going to go to Toronto? Was he going to go to Montreal? Was he going to go back to St. Louis? How about he goes to Las Vegas instead? This was the major update that happened in 2019. The fact that Alex Pietrangelo would go to Vegas, and the fact that in 2020 he would go to the Vegas Golden Knights on a 7-year deal. And the fact is, he would go to a 7-year deal, $61 million to come to Vegas. All right? Keep in mind, a few years earlier, he had signed that 7-year deal, $45 million, with St. Louis back when he was 23 years old. So now he is about 28 years old, and he signs a 7-year deal, $61 million, and he had a no movement clause here in Vegas. Now, since I'm here in Las Vegas, I will tell you that there was a mixed reaction to Alex Pietrangelo being signed. On one hand, NHL diehards and people who understood hockey knew how great Alex Pietrangelo was. They knew that he was a 1-time Stanley Cup champion. They knew that he was a 7-time Norris Trophy vote. He received votes 7 different times for the Norris Trophy. They knew that he was a 3-time All-Star in terms of the NHL All-Second Team. A lot of people knew his accolades heading into the NHL. People knew that Alex Pietrangelo was one of the best players defensively heading into the NHL. So the people on that side, they were ecstatic. They were excited. They were insanely thrilled to have Alex Pietrangelo join Vegas. But then there was the opposite side. There were people who were critics, and I'm not going to say they're right or wrong. I'm not going to go there. But there were people who looked at his age and then looked at the contract, and they wondered, did Vegas give him too many years for Alex Pietrangelo? Keep in mind, he was 29 years old when he signed this contract. So for a 7-year deal, he will be about 35 years old by the time this contract is up. So there was some doubt if Alex Pietrangelo was going to live up to his contract. There was some doubt that he would go and play all 7 years here in Vegas. Now, here's what I will tell you. We have seen the first 3 years of Alex Pietrangelo's contract. Okay? We have 4 more years to go of Alex Pietrangelo's contract in Vegas. He will be a member of your Vegas Golden Knights until 2027. He's going to have a cap hit of $8.8 million for your Vegas Golden Knights. He's going to be here for the next 4 years because he has a no movement clause. Now, for the people who had those doubts, for people who were concerned about a 7-year deal for a guy who was 29 years old, let me just explain to you how good Alex Pietrangelo has been as a member of the Vegas Golden Knights. Alex Pietrangelo, in 3 seasons playing for Vegas, he has 31 goals, 90 assists, 121 points, and a plus 40 in 194 games. Those stats make him a top 50 player in the NHL. Okay? For a guy who is one of the best defensemen in the NHL, 121 points in 3 years, that is about 40 points a season for Alex Pietrangelo. And just to back that up, by the way, Alex Pietrangelo in 2020, 2021, not only did he become a one-time All-Star, not only did he become a leader in the locker room for Vegas, but he has helped turn the Vegas Golden Knights into one of the best defensive teams in the NHL. He has helped the Vegas Golden Knights become a steady rock in the NHL in terms of defense. In 2020, 2021, he had 23 points in 41 games. Okay? He had 12 points in 19 playoff games for your Vegas Golden Knights. The next year, he played in all but 2 games for your Vegas Golden Knights. 80 games played, 44 points. That's a little over half a point per game for Alex Pietrangelo. And then 2022, 2023, Alex Pietrangelo would have a part in helping the Vegas Golden Knights win the Stanley Cup. Not only would he win his second Stanley Cup, but he would help Vegas tremendously in the Stanley Cup playoffs. As you see right there, he has that Stanley Cup patch on his sleeve. He's the alternate captain here in Vegas. And let me explain to you a huge reason why. He stands up for his teammates again and again and again. There was multiple times that brawls broke out in the Florida Stanley Cup Final, and Alex Pietrangelo was bar none, the biggest catalyst when it came to getting in the brawl, getting up in people's face. Hey, I'm going to push you. I'm going to punch you. I'm going to tackle you. I'm going to grab you. Alex Pietrangelo was somebody who went up to Matthew Tkachuk, went up to Gustav Forsling, went up to Brandon Montour. He didn't care who you were. Racco Gudas, doesn't matter. Alex Pietrangelo would cause chaos, but more importantly, he would defend his teammates again and again. Alex Martinez would get a cheap shot. Alex Pietrangelo would jump right on it, and he would make sure that his teammate was taken care of. So for Alex Pietrangelo, he has become one of the best players the Vegas Golden Knights have had. And to kind of get this back to what we were originally talking about, Alex Pietrangelo is the best defenseman here in Vegas. He is, without a doubt, the best defenseman the Vegas Golden Knights have had as a member of the NHL. Alex Pietrangelo, I don't know if he'll be in the Ring of Honor. It's too soon for that. But here's what I will say. In 15 seasons playing in the NHL, he has had over 570 points as a member of Vegas and as a member of St. Louis. He has also had a plus 117 in his career. His plus minus is plus 117 for Alex Pietrangelo. He's also the same guy that has about 950 games into his career. He is going to get to 1,000 games at the end of the 2023-2024 season here in Vegas. That's going to be quite a moment, by the way, when he gets to 1,000 games played here in Vegas. So I will say for Alex Pietrangelo, yes, he is the best defenseman in Vegas. Yes, he's a 2-time Stanley Cup champion. And more importantly, Alex Pietrangelo has become the guy that was paid handsomely a 7-year deal to come to Vegas. He has earned that contract, and he has done quite well here in Vegas. And like I mentioned before, he will be under contract until 2027. He will have a cap hit of $8.8 million, and he will be here in Vegas for the next 4 seasons, regardless if you like it or not. So, this is Vegas Hockey Hub. I'm your host, Ian Rachiele. Follow me on social media at IanRachiele18 and follow the show at Vegas Hockey Hub. And until next time, continue watching hockey, go support junior hockey, and go Knights, go!